Hey, I'm Stephan Buonocore, president of Stronghold Games, and you're watching No Enemies Here, Wargaming News, with Dan Pancaldi. Oh, how about that guy Dan? Sounds like one of my Goombas from New York. Maybe New Jersey. I think he's from maybe Brooklyn, Queens. What do you think? Goomba.
Compass Games has released Zeppelin Raider Imperial German Naval Airships. This is a solitaire tactical level game placing you in command of one of several models of World War I Zeppelin dirigibles as part of the Imperial German Navy. Zeppelin Raider is designed by Gregory M. Smith of Silent Victory and the Hunters fame. What you get with this game is one counter sheet of 9/16" counters, 4 Zeppelin display mats, 6 player aid cards, 8 historical commandant cards, 1 Zeppelin patrol mat, 1 Zeppelin log sheet rulebook, 2 6-sided, 1 10-sided dice, and 1 20-sided die, and obviously Compass's famous box and a lid. Tiny Battle Publishing, Rifles in the Pacific. This is a solitaire game set in the Pacific theater of World War II by Gottardo Zancani. Rifles in the Pacific includes a full sheet of 1-inch square die-cut counters, 3 abstracted maps representing jungles, beaches, and typical Pacific theater terrain, 2 army sheets, 8 action-packed mission and a campaign to use them, a full-color rulebook, and it comes in a Ziploc bag. GMT and the Last 100 Yards, a game designed by Mike Denson. The components: a box and a lid, 6 double-sided cardstock maps, 1 rule booklet, a scenario booklet, 4 sheets of counters, 2 identical combat terrain charts, player reference cards, a game turn track, and a dice. Complexity is medium and solitaire suitability is medium-low.
Oh, how about that guy Dan? Sounds like one of my Goombas from New York.
The Centurions review is unboxing AVP Alien vs. Predator. The Hunt Begins 2nd edition, published by Protos Games. He's also unboxing a game from 1979, Vector 3, designed by Greg Kostikian, published by SPI. The artists, Rick Bryant and Redmond A. Simonson and Charles Vess. Gimpy's Gal guesses For What Remains. This is a game designed by David Thompson, soon to be published by DVG. The Gimpy Gamer does a review through of Brave Little Belgium, a game designed by Ray Haleman and Dave Shaw, published by Hollenspiel.
Goomba.
Hey, what's that? Gimpy also continues his magnum opus, Nations at War, by Lock and Load. Core Rules version 3. Grant of the Player's Aid is giving you a video playthrough of Space Corps, a game designed by John Butterfield, published by GMT. They are also unboxing the great game Rival Empires in Central Asia. This is a game designed by John Gorkowski, published by Legion Wargames. Lock and Load has a video out. Starter Kit Scenario, A Friend in Need. Mo of Mo's Game Tables unboxing The Lost Provinces. This is a game designed by John Gorkowski. The artist is Jose Ramon Faura, published by Hollenspiele. Semper Fi, Mo. Mo is also previewing Strategy and Tactics issue number 316, a game by Harold Buchanan entitled Campaigns of 1777. Ardwulf from ARDWULF'S LAIR is unboxing To Take Washington, a game designed by Dean Essig. The artist is Nicholas Escaby, published by MMP. The Itinerant Hobbyist is showing you his progress on 10mm and 15mm miniatures.
Goomba.
Riccardo Masini in Vlog 26 explains beautifully in Italian the solo method, the card-driven solo method of STUKAJOE. Thursday Night Gamers come back after a hiatus of 8 months, and they continue Napoleon Retreats 1814 Parts 1 and 2, The Campaign. Mitch of Soundboard is unboxing Tunisia 2, the Operational Combat Series from Dean Essig, designed by Dean Essig, published by MMP. Nick, the new kid in town, does a complete guide to Line of Battle System Video 6, today, Line of Sight. Major Tom Solo was continuing the battle of Down in Flames, locked on with Kevin Verson.
Oh, how about that guy Dan? Sounds like one of my Goombas from New York.
Marco Wargamer Arnaldo reviews Platoon Commander Deluxe, The Battle of Kursk, a game designed by David K. Van Hoos and Mark H. Walker, published by Flying Pig Games. The artist is Ilya Kudryashov. The OG, the original Grognard, is doing an unboxing of World at War 85, Storming the Gap, a game designed by Matt Losey and Keith Tracton. The artist is Mark Von Martial, published by Lock and Load. Gilbert Collins is taking a long look at the Peloponnesian War 431 to 404 BC, a game designed by Mark Herman, published by Victory Games. Man famously known as Calandale, Enrico Viglino does his Part 5 of Pendragon, a game designed by Morgan Guyon-Rezzi, published by GMT. BLASTPOP, as he says, he's doing something different, and what he's doing is an overview and explanation of Fields of Fire by GMT, a game designed by Ben Hull. Compass Games and John Krantz is live with episode 24, featuring an interview with Gregory M. Smith, designer of Zeppelin Raider.
Hi, I'm Dean Essig, and this is my daughter Rosalind. She got drafted into being the questioner for this operation.
Some say you are the General Marshal, Frederick the Great, Elvis, and Beatles of Hex Encounter war games. How do you feel about this?
That seems like an awfully high bar to reach. I wouldn't ever try to put that crown on my own head. If somebody thinks of that of me, I'm very happy for them, and I hope that I never disappoint.
You're a martial artist. What is your specialty?
I took about 6 years worth of Taekwondo and got a first degree black belt. After that, I have done little or nothing, so I don't know how that would work if I ever had to pull it out of my butt and use it.
And what's with the Amish look?
That was just something that happened to be different. Unlike the earring, which signifies the fact that someday I'm going to grow up and be a pirate.
You are the designer of CWB, RRS, LOB, SCS, OCS, BCS. Are you also the designer of LOL, WTF, LMFAO, and FYI?
No, I can take no credit for those acronyms.
Why use the acronyms for your systems?
Those are there because it became obvious that I was doing everything in terms of a series, and the series all needed to have names, and they started out with very straightforward, simple names, and I've just kept that ever since. And they're all short enough and simple enough that the acronym isn't difficult to deal with.
Is Wargame Publishing your business?
Yes.
Care to elaborate?
I know.
And can I call you bro?
Sure, knock yourself out, bro.
When and why did you form the Gamers?
That all started approximately around 1985. The first game came out in 1988 in the spring. During that time, I was finishing up my degree in cartography and working on trying to meld my military experience, my cartography degree, and whatnot into a viable occupation. At the time, everyone was saying that the hobby was going to die, probably any minute, and that only an idiot would start a game company at that point. I thought I could do better, so I jumped right in.
I've heard that DAC2 is manageable with only 5 maps and 1,540 counters. If this is manageable, in your opinion, what isn't?
Well, any game where you can't reach the center of the game from the outside edge when you're standing next to it is too big. DAC is a special case. There's a lot of empty space in those maps because it's the desert, and very few of those counters are actually in play at any one time. Several of my games are quite large and have an enormous number of counters and whatnot, so I'm not trying to make that as it. It's just the example is a little off, that's all.
How long from idea to finish did it take to make Case Blue?
I tried to figure that out, seeing the question there. Case Blue came out in 2007, and I know I was working on it from probably the late 90s on, but I don't know exactly which year it started in. So somewhere between 7 and 10 years.
Who are some of your favorite designers?
I really like the games of Mark Herman. Richard Berg is hard to swallow sometimes. He's much better in person than in a lot of other ways. Loved his work. And Dave Isby, I was a great fan of Air War back in the day. Really liked playing that.
When did that game come out?
I want to say 1978.
So is that when you played as a teenager?
Oh yeah.
And can you explain what it means to be a ranger? Is it like being Aragorn in Lord of the Rings?
Well, I'm not exactly sure how they describe what Aragorn was in Lord of the Rings besides calling him a ranger. And the military rangers are specially trained for raid operations, reconnaissance, and ambush. In my case, I'd say I learned how to suffer and be entirely miserable, but not quit, and that's the key. But remember, in all of that, a soldier never gives up his right to bitch, moan, and groan the whole time, but you just can't quit.
And do you play any Euro games? If so, which ones?
Not a one.
You can't get more grognard than that.
And, alright, here are a few in a row. MG42 or Browning 50 caliber?
That depends on the mission you're trying to do and how much ammunition you can carry with you. The MG42 would be really good if you're working over man-sized human targets. The Browning is better if you're dealing with small light vehicles or trucks. In both cases, the amount of ammunition, because the M2's got a slower rate of fire, you're not going to have as many rounds, but each round weighs a ton. So you need a bunch of guys as pack mules to carry them around. But I would say it's a toss-up between the two because I don't know what mission I'm trying to do right now.
Lentil soup or burger and fries?
Burger and fries.
Tactical or?
I preferred battalion level when I was growing up. That seemed the most interesting. Tactical was a little too much detail all the time. Nobody could ever do a tactical game that was straightforward, and strategic level just bored me.
Sophia Loren or Jane Mansfield?
Those would both be before my time. So you'd have to bring up like Farrah Fawcett or somebody for me.
General Patton or General Schwarzkopf?
I would go with General Patton because Schwarzkopf only had the one major maneuver to do. So Patton had to show himself as more versatile over more different kinds of situations and whatnot.
The vision slit of a Panzer IIIJ or a Panzer IIIH?
I have no idea what the difference is.
Fair enough. The Magnificent Seven or the Dirty Dozen?
I don't think I ever saw the Magnificent Seven all the way through. I caught snippets of it accidentally by changing channels, but I do love the Dirty Dozen.
Urban or desert warfare?
Desert. Urban goes back to the it needs to be tactical and the ramifications of that from before.
Battle of Gettysburg or Battle of the Bulge?
Both my favorites.
Settlers of Catan or Carcassonne?
I've never heard of the second one at all, and I've never played Settlers. I have seen it played though.
You know, you can't get more hardcore than that. He's actually only seen it played. I mean, even Kevin Sharp has played My Little Pony Goes to Namby-Pamby Land.
And do you use the BAE or the BETC system?
I use the CGH system, which is coffee before somebody gets hurt. Thank you.
Goomba.
Phalanx Games! Freedom, a game designed by Vangelis Bagiartakis. This is the Greek battle for Messaloniki 1825 to 1826. What you get with Freedom is a heavy cardboard game board, 56 by 56 centimeters, 50 Dawn of Freedom cards, 50 Twilight Freedom cards, 2-player aid charts, rulebook, and a lot of tokens. MAURO FAINA has an English podcast in Il Janizzero, the Janissary. Episode 1, Chariot. This is a game designed by John Young, the artist is Rebman A. Simonson, published by SPI in 1975. A Janissary is a soldier of an elite corps of Turkish troops organized in the 14th century. 3 Moves Ahead, a podcast about strategy and war games. Episode 465, where they look at Mark Herman's Empire of the Sun. The undeniable voices of the Mary and Tom Show, episode 75, in which Tom and Mary answer questions. Everything and anything ASL can be heard at the 2 Half Squads Advanced Squad Leader podcast, episode 218. Here they discuss Le Franc-Tireurs' newest magazine, issue number 14, where you will find the history of the Italians in World War II and in ASL. Gobfest. Play games, make friends, win prizes. Edmonton's Board Gaming Convention, April 12th to 14th, 2019. That's right, 2019. At the Alberta Avenue Community League Hall. The Trumpeter Tabletop Games Society in Metro Vancouver, Canada, has the Trumpeter Salute Tabletop Games Convention. This is the 46th Annual Trumpeter Tabletop Convention, April 12th to 14th, 2019. This is held at the Buonocore Recreation Complex on Buonocore Avenue in Burnaby, BC, Canada. Hey, so what do you think of my new pal, Stephan, the Good Heart?
Oh, how about that guy Dan? Sounds like one of my Goombas from New York. What do you think?
Huh? Don't let that sweet baby face fool you, huh? And neither is named the Good Heart. And in another life he's called the Press.
One of my Goombas.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching.
My Goomba.
Another week has gone by.
My Goomba.
Thank you to my patrons. And thank you to my sponsors. Guys, you're the best. See you next week.
Oh, how about that guy Dan? Sounds like one of my Goombas from New York. My Goomba. My Goomba. My Goomba.